Facebook, and we're on Facebook and Instagram
Wow.
and Facebook and YouTube, and amazing, beautiful. So Amit, hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
Very good, very good. I like. Where are you right now? Outside?
Yes, I'm just outside in my backyard in my gazebo.
Ah, nice, very very nice, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
what are we going to talk about today?
Oh my God, I'm so excited about today because I have invited some friends to watch this live because I've put together some questions that are really important given the phase that we are in right now. And I know
Okay.
you are a powerhouse of information and knowledge and authority. And not just
Yeah.
because I've heard it from somewhere, but because I've experienced that working with you. Personally, myself, I have grown so much working and knowing the data from you and applying in my life. And my wife and my family, my two little kids, they have been influenced and they have seen crazy, amazing results just with the application of the information that you've shared. So first of
Thank
all,
you.
I want to thank you. Thank you for making that change in my life. And such an amazing impact and profound changes have happened because of you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And just people that joining us, what I suggest that you will do is that you will start a watch group, because when you start a watch group, you will get more people that watching it with you. So if
Right,
you can
right.
do that, it will help them because they will hear what we're talking about here. And I promise you, if anyone that will hear this interview will gain some life-changing data. It's not just another thing. It will be amazing for them. Okay.
Definitely, definitely.
So
Okay,
ask.
awesome, awesome. So I want to start with the current situation that's happening, and fear seems to be the one in everyone's mind right now. So, in your opinion, in your knowledge and information, where do you think is the origin of fear? Where does it actually originate?
Fear is simply an unwillingness to communicate. And in regards to the coronavirus, I just spoke to Lisa about it. In regards to the coronavirus, the reason you have the fear is quite fascinating.
Uh-huh.
What does it mean, unwillingness to communicate? There is a lie.
Okay.
If you're afraid, you're dealing with lies. As long as everything is on the table, when you have all the truth on the table, you will see that actually the definition of the word truth is the exact thing, but without continuation. The
The
exact
exact.
thing, but without continuation, which means it
Okay.
is the moment of creation. The moment that you go away
Okay.
from the creation, it starts to have continuation, and the more continuation you have, the more lies it contains. What do I mean? The only reason that this cigar is here is because the atoms are moving, and that
Hmm.
movement is a lie. Why? What is a lie? A change from the original. A change
Wow.
from the original. Okay. So when you have a problem and the problem don't disappear,
Hmm.
it is because there is some lie, something you don't know. Once you know everything about something, it will go away. And the bigger the damage, the bigger the destruction, the more lies are in the solution. So the solution deteriorates from the truth by the amount of damage it contains, the amount of change. So if we look at the coronavirus, we have a
Hmm.
lot of changes in the whole planet,
Yeah.
changes in everything. It means that there is a massive, massive lie. Now, what's the lie? What's the lie?
Hmm.
The lie is quite fascinating. Uh, the lie is that the people that claim to be the experts in handling the pandemic are not an expert.
Hmm.
Now, anyone can understand that. You don't need to go and check the certificates. What is an expert? An expert is someone that can bring results.
Right.
You agree? An
Yeah.
expert is someone that can bring
Totally.
results. If I said that I'm an expert, but I cannot bring result, I'm not an expert.
That's true.
Yes?
Yes.
Now, how do you bring result? Is because you've done it before. You cannot have result in the future and say that you're an expert, because you'll be an expert in the future. It
Hmm.
means that in the past you had results. Those experts that claim that they are an expert are not an expert because they never handled a pandemic. They maybe learned about the pandemic. They maybe had theoretical knowledge about pandemics, but they never handled the pandemic. Obviously not in this size, not even close to that size, which means they don't know.
Hmm.
Now, the only problem is that when you act on something that you don't know and you start to go in one way, people have really one bug in people have one bug, and this bug is the bug that destroy every person on earth.
Uh-huh.
And this bug is that there is one thing that more important for you than living, and that thing is you want to be right. You
Hmm.
want to be right more than you want to live, which means you cannot say that you are wrong. You never, no one alive ever say that he is wrong. You say I'm wrong because, or I'm wrong but. You never say I'm wrong full stop.
Yeah, there is always a justification. There is an excuse attached to it.
Even if you say that, you will see that there is an excuse. Usually people telling me in seminars, I say that, and people say, yeah, I did say that I was wrong. I say, oh, give me an example. And they say, well, I was wrong that I'm invested incorrectly. Good. How come that you invested incorrectly? Did you want to fail? No. So why did you invest incorrectly? Well, I didn't have the data. Good. You have because
Yeah.
I didn't have the data. You always have because or but, because at the moment that you do something at that zero time, you are sure that this is the most correct, the most pro survival thing to do. A second
Hmm.
later, you can say, oh, I was wrong, but you don't say I was wrong. You say I was wrong because I was wrong, but. Now, usually what happened, because you cannot be wrong, what you do, instead of just saying you are wrong, when you say but, it's always a lie, because it's not because you didn't have the data, is because you did not use you are the thing that knows, you are the thing that creates, you know everything, and you agree to not know. And later on, a few years later, if you look back and if you will be brave enough, you will see that you will say, I knew, I just didn't trust myself. I knew, I just didn't trust myself. And what happened is that once you are wrong, to prove that you are right, you keep on doing the same thing. It's weird, I know. But if a person is wrong, if a person did something bad, to prove that he is right, he's doing the same thing. So for example, you go and you decided to do a diet. I'll take something really simple like a diet. You
Mhm.
take one bite of a chocolate and you eat the whole thing of the chocolate. You don't eat one piece, yes? You take one bite of an ice cream, you eat the whole store, yes? You,
Yes.
you don't you don't do one.
How did
Once
you
you
know?
do you do one thing and you do the whole thing,
Yeah.
yes? You see that you get into argument.
Hmm.
You are locked on a viewpoint and you will argue for years. Even if you see that the argument do not bring results, you will still push your viewpoint and
Yeah.
you will justify it and say, no, but I'm right, but this, but that. But it doesn't bring results. So obviously you are not right. You understand?
That's so
So
true.
the
That's so
problem with an expert is that they are human like anyone else. And once you make a mistake, and especially if you make a mistake in front of the president of a country, you now need to justify why you've been right. So the mistake will grow and grow and grow because you will add a lie on lie on lie. It's like when you start to lie, the lie don't end with one lie.
true.
It is more and more lies, and the more lies you add, the more stupid you get.
Because essentially all the justifications and all the excuses, they are just adding up on the lies. Those are the additional lies you're talking about, correct?
Yeah, the original lie, I'm not an expert, I don't know.
Right.
And what we need, if I was the expert that's supposed to handle it, I would say, look, I have no idea. What we can do is check what's logical. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. And we look at the data, and based on the data, we will act. But today, you will see people say, well, there mustn't be more than 50 people in a group. Why? Why not 51?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's not based on some kind of data. Or you look and you see some countries that didn't have lockdown, didn't have anything, and the hospital did not collapse, and nothing happened, and it's okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And more than that, in Taiwan, there's 6 people that die. In Sweden, they are somewhere in the middle, in the average level. So the quarantine don't actually help. The quarantine don't help. Who you should quarantine? Someone at high risk, maybe. Maybe even that. I will not do that, but I will find a way to increase the immune system. That will be a more logical
Mm.
thing to do.
Right.
And what the other lie? The other lie is that if you look before the corona, no one knew how many people die from accidents. No one
Yeah.
knows how many people die from flu. No one knows how many people die from just going to the hospital to visit someone, from mistake of doctors, from many, many, many things. Millions of people die. No one knows because no one promoted, and it's not a problem. People die, it's part of life. But when you take a situation that a few 100,000 people die and you say that it's from corona, we don't know that it's from corona.
Yeah.
You say that it's from corona. We actually know that it's not, but regardless of that argument. And then you say that they die from corona, and you promote it, you will be afraid. If I would, it's, I had today, I saw some very nice kind of a description of what's happening with the coronavirus. In Africa, every year, the animals go from one side of Africa to another side, okay?
Okay.
And they need to cross rivers. And on these rivers, there are crocodiles that always catch some of the animals. The crocodiles kill some of the animals. But the animals know that if they will not cross the river, they will not survive. So they're crossing the river, despite the fact that a few of them will die. Okay? Imagine that someone will start to quarantine them, put a fence before the river to prevent a few people from dying, and quarantine them, and will kill the whole herd.
Yeah.
This is what's happening right now. This is really what's happening right now. You try to save few people, and you kill everyone, because the number of businesses that went out of business after hundreds of years, the financial damage. Forget about the financial damage, the social damage, the emotional damage, the psychological damage, the number of people that are destroyed and will not recover for years, the number of people that committed suicide and will commit suicide, the number of life that has been destroyed is much more than anything that the corona could do.
Wow.
And what we did, we put a fence in front of the river to prevent some people from dying and to kill everyone else. Do you understand? This is really what we've done. And it's insane. And it's insane because the experts are not expert.
Because the thing is, you're so right. People are not looking at the real data. Even if they look at the real data, give you an example, even in India. I was talking to somebody in India recently, and they were so afraid. They were totally in fear. And I asked them a simple question. I said, do you know how many deaths happened in India because of COVID-19? And they had no idea. And they said, oh, yeah, so many people are dying. And I said, okay, but do you know the number? And as you know, the population of India is more than 1 billion. And I said, there are 3,500 deaths. This was about a week or 10 days ago. I said, there are 3,500 deaths in India. in a country that is a population of 1 billion. And the person that I was talking to could not say a word. He said, "That's it?" And I said, "Yes." Because the media and all the input that they are getting, I know it's not that person's fault, because they are bombarded with all the fear and the media, that they are not getting any other input. All what they are getting is all these news that, oh, so many people died and this is happening and that is happening. So they are overwhelmed with this information. So this real data that you provide, and such sources do provide, people are sort of blocked from getting that information.
Yeah, it's, you need to know in evaluating data, if the data do not bring an immediate improvement, the data is false. But how do you know if the data is false? You need to look, anything that push you towards more fear, uh, anything that push you towards I cannot do something about it, it's false. Think about it. If there was, it's basically, you can think about it. There's one country that's going against another country, okay? And think about it that someone will talk in this country about how terrible those people, and how we need to be afraid of them, and we need to be afraid of them, and how we need to be afraid of them. So before they will shoot a bullet, we will kill ourselves. We will quarantine ourselves. Yes? That's what happened before, because the fear win the war. The people that are willing to look at the fear in the eyes win the war. It's not the bullet. It's not how powerful your airplanes. It's not anything. Is Are you willing to look at the fear in the eyes? Israel, when Israel started, it was 1948. I think there was 650,000 Israelis, no airplanes, no tanks, against armies from, I think, 8 countries, something like 250 million people against 600,000.
Wow.
And the 600,000 people won, not because they had better guns, they had worse guns, not because they had more bullets, they had less bullets, not because of anything other than they had such a strong purpose that they look at the fear in the eyes and say, fear, come on, come. I'm willing to look at it. I'm willing to die. Why? Because my freedom is more important than my body. Today, what you've been promoted is that your body is more important than your freedom. Your body is more important than anything. And when you think like that, when you're educated like that, you become a piece of dead body. You are actually becoming a piece of a physical thing, because the spirit will never admit that something other than it can cause anything. You, the spirit, can cause anything. And anyone that convinces you that you are less than a god, and not a god like the real God, yes?
Right.
You are less than a god, which means you can determine what's happened. You can look at the fear in the eyes and win. You can do something about it. Anyone that convinces you anything else is actually your enemy.
Lovely. Love it. That's amazing. So we're talking about businesses. Every business around the world is now affected, and majority of the businesses are losing money. There are a few businesses that are making good money, actually really good money, and some people are barely making it through. So what do you think that the businesses should be doing right now to either stay afloat or actually do better than what they've ever done?
Okay, good. So for a business to make money, he needs to have a product that is valuable to someone else, that he can deliver and the other person can pay. That's the basic thing about businesses. So first of all, you need to establish what is your product. What are you going to give that other people are willing to pay? And the product can be product or service. It's the same thing. It's something of value that other people, when they receive it, it will help them so much that they will be able to pay. So the first thing, you need to define what is your product. And if your product is something that you cannot deliver like you used to deliver. You need to become smart about how to deliver it.
Right.
Okay, there's always a solution. There's
Mhm.
always a solution, and it's just unbelievable. But there's always a solution. Okay, so that's number one. Once you figure out what is the product that you're going to deliver, what you need to do is to communicate 1,000 times more than what you used to.
That's amazing. That is
Just
amazing.
that's all. Number one, define the product, and number two, communicate 1,000 times more. Nothing else. You will. The coronavirus will be the best thing that happened to you if you actually do these two actions. Number one, define the product that you can deliver.
Mhm.
Figure out what is it that people need and how you deliver it. Once you have that, you just communicate it again and again and again and again, 1,000 times more than what you used to, and you will see that you will not be able to count the money. Now,
Wow.
what's the problem with that? What I'm telling you, it's too simple.
Hmm.
I have a success rule that I invented that called the Meir's 5-second rule. What is
Hmm.
Meir's 5-second rule? It comes from the army. I was in a special unit in the Israeli army, and I have a problem with my feet, so I cannot really walk. But I've done the worst things in the universe in terms of using the body. And someone asked me, how did I do it? And I said, how did I do it is that for me, when I do something, I have only 5 seconds that I need to do it. Only 5 seconds. So I need to walk only for 5 seconds. So for 5 seconds, I can walk, yes? And
Hmm.
every time I have just one more 5 seconds. After the 5 seconds that finish, I don't have to do anything. But every time I have a new 5 seconds, and I deal only with 5 seconds. And this is the most unbelievable thing because it takes you through anything. It happened in terms of you sit in the middle of the night, everyone is asleep, and I'm working on my inbox, and I have a law that I have to finish my inbox every day, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning already, and I still have 50 emails to go, and I can go to sleep or continue. So I
Hmm.
continue for 5 more seconds, and
Wow.
5 more seconds, and 5 more seconds, and before I know, I don't think about the 5 more seconds. It's finished. I had a story once. I was in a seminar,
Hmm.
and someone told me, I was talking about the power of the spirit and so on, and that the spirit is cause over the body. And someone told me, you know what, you cannot do 7 minutes plank. So I can. He says, did you like? First of all, I didn't know what a plank is. Yes. So I asked him, what is a plank? So he showed me what is a plank, and he says, I said, okay, I can do that. He says, you cannot do. I've been training for 6 months, and now I can do 7 minutes, and it's very difficult and so on. I said, 7 minutes I cannot, but I can do 7 minutes. He says, what do you mean? I said, look, I'll show you. So we made the bet, and I went down, and I've done 7 minutes. And when I finished, she asked me, how did you do that? Like what? I said, look, I did not do 7 minutes. I've done many 5 seconds,
Nice.
five
Nice.
seconds,
Love that.
and another 5 seconds, and another 5 seconds. And that's applied to anything. In anything in life, you need to find your 5 seconds. And sometimes it's 5 seconds, and sometimes you can define it's 5 minutes, and sometimes it's 5 hours, but it's something. Now, there's a whole knowledge behind it. Why 5 and not 4? It must be uneven number one.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, because it creates this next thing. When it's even, you get to an end, plus minus, plus minus. When it's uneven, it creates the next cycle. There's a whole knowledge about this 5 minutes, 5 second rule, but At the moment, if anyone hear it and just apply that 5-second rule, whenever something becomes difficult, whenever you worry about something, whenever you're not sure if you can, all you have to do is to say, good, 5 seconds. I can't do that for 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5
Right.
seconds. See, your whole life will change by the 5-second rule. My 5-second rule already changed the life of many people. And I get it almost every day. Someone write to me and say, I was like, I couldn't do that. And I thought that I cannot do that. I cannot continue with my business. And my accountant told me that we need to close. And I said, you know what? 5 more days. Because I applied the 5-second rule. 5 days I can go. 5 more days.
So is there
5
something
more
specific
hours.
with 5, or it can be any odd number?
No, it's 5. It's 5. It has to be
5 is
5.
very specific. Okay.
Yeah, there's a reason why 5. And if you come to one of my seminars, I will explain. But generally, 5 has to do with the way that the power of the spirit has been deteriorated from knowing to where we are right now. So there's a specific reason why 5 and not 3 and not 4 and not 7 and not 6. 5.
Awesome.
Really important 5.
Awesome. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing, Meir. Okay, good.
So the 5-second rule is something that can change your life. And if you start to apply it, every time you feel a little bit, I cannot, that's it, enough, I'm done. Apply the 5-second rule and you will see that you will promote, you will succeed, you will progress in order of magnitude more than what you've done up to now.
Fantastic. Love it. Okay, Meir. Recently, you started an amazing series of webinars, which was focused on Yoga Sutras. And I have started attending those with you, where I attended the first 2 Yoga Sutra webinars. And the amazing information that you have in there, the way that it is being presented, I'm really getting the data, what I was missing all these years. I mean, born in India, I've been exposed to yoga and the concept of yoga for years and decades. But the way, how powerful it is, I know now, and I'm just started the webinar and the training series, but I already see the amazing value that this training is going to bring to me. So can you tell us a little bit more about this seminar and what's happening and what's your plan with this seminar?
Yeah. So generally, if you talk to 90% of the people on earth and you tell them yoga, they instinctively tell you that it's good. Yes, they tell you it's good. They don't know exactly why, but they know it's good.
Right.
Now, if you look at more successful people, you'll see that most successful people in some way or another was involved in yoga or are involved in yoga or think that yoga is really important and want to be involved in yoga. They have something to do with yoga. Why? Because the idea behind yoga was extremely powerful idea. The idea behind yoga was not to do fancy poses. The idea behind yoga was to come up with spiritual techniques that when applied will release the spirit from the draconian claws of the physical universe.
Wow.
The whole idea is actually to restore you to native state. That was the purpose of yoga.
Wow.
Long time ago. Over the years, those purposes been deteriorated because people lost the techniques, lost the knowledge, and it was deteriorated to right now where people talk about things that they really don't know. And I'm saying it not because I want to make someone wrong, but because I spoke to people that do yoga across the globe and asked them simple questions like define a spirit, what is truth, what is mind, what is to manifest, what is energy. They talk a lot about energy. Just define for me a wavelength. What does it mean, a wavelength? How do you calculate a wavelength? What's the connection between frequency, wavelength, and the speed of light? etc., etc., etc. And I found out they know nothing about it. I mean, they know the words, they can say energy, but if I ask them to define energy, or what's the difference between energy, force, power?
Mm.
What's the difference between energy and kinetic energy?
Yeah.
Like, it's all one mishmash. Energy, energy. Energy is energy, yes. And then, and because of that because of that misunderstandings, they don't bring results. So you see that people do meditation, do yoga, and while they will have good physical results, the body will become stronger, they will be able to be more flexible, etc. If you look at their life, they don't have even close to what they should have in terms of result in their life. They have relationship problems, they have money problems, they have problem with their children, and even problem with their health, and they don't have the expected results. So when you don't have the expected result, you need to know that you don't know.
Yep.
It's a big thing to know.
Yeah.
And so I figured this thing out because a friend of mine and one of my students, Ray Indigo, she was teaching that, and she told me that she observed that there's no result, and she asked me to have a look at the Yoga Sutras. And I had a look and I saw it. Impossible to understand. No one can understand it. The way that it's written right now is not with the purpose of someone actually using it.
Wow.
It is in the purpose of someone guessing what it means, and guessing is not such a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Good, I can help with that." And she said, "What? You going to give me the Yoga Sutras?" I said, "No. Who makes me God to give you the Yoga Sutras? Nonsense. Because I can give you my opinion, but my opinion means nothing really. But I can make you rediscover them."
Mm.
And she said, "What?" I said, "Yep, I can make you rediscover them. I can give you the tools that you will rediscover them." And she said, "How do I know that I rediscovered the correct thing?" I said, "Look, if I discover A, if I write a sentence and you rediscover, and I didn't tell you anything, and you discover the same sentence, probably is right. But if we take 200 people and all 200 people come to the same sentence, it's 99.9999999% that is right." So what I'm doing in this, the path to you, is actually I'm teaching people what they need to know in order to rehabilitate the ability to know. And when they rehabilitated the ability to know, they can find the Yoga Sutras or anything else. I'm just using the Yoga Sutra as an example, and anything else. Basically, I'm teaching you how to know. How do you recover knowledge? How do you recover lost knowledge? Are you going to ask someone and make yourself an effect? Or are you going to discover it and make yourself cause?
Wow.
And you will see that there's something very interesting about knowledge. If you are not the source of the knowledge, you don't actually know. How can I how can I show it to you? Is if you have any knowledge that you've studied, you have some knowledge and you think that you understand it. One day you got to teach it. Once you start to teach it, you realize what you know, what you don't know. You realize everything. When you teach, is the best time for you to learn. Not from school, not from books, not from anything. When you teach, when you assume that you know, when you become the source, you learn the most. So the only way for you to learn is to teach. What does it mean to teach? To assume that you know. Never allow to anything else or anyone else other than yourself to be the source of your knowledge, source of your data. You know the definition of the spirit, or one of the definition is this thing that knows. And when someone else other than yourself is the source for your knowledge, you become a useless robot. You think that you know, but you're actually useless.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful. And you've been teaching this in your seminars and webinars, and I've attended 2 or 3 of your live seminars, which were just mind blowing. I mean, remember the first one that I attended, we went on and on and on. It was about 4 p.m. And then we realized, oh my God, we've not had lunch yet. And we
Yeah.
went from, say, 8 o'clock in the morning till about 4 o'clock without having any breaks, no lunch, no breakfast. And I've never had that experience attending any other seminar. Everybody was so involved, and you were involved, and it was so much fun. It was not like it was intense and everybody's working hard. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was really different. And the main thing I like about learning from you, Mir, is you make other people so right. You make other people so right. And I've had that difficulty myself when I'm teaching someone, because when I do my coaching and my teaching and training, the concept that I originally had was that I know more than them, and that's why I need to teach them, I need to give them more data. But since I've been learning from you for about 3 years, and that huge shift has happened in my teaching, people have started to recognize that, oh my God, I'm not just saying that, oh, you're wrong, you don't know that, but I'm actually helping them realize that they are already powerful. And
Yeah.
this is one of the most powerful lesson I've learned from you, and it has
Thank
shown great, amazing results for me. So thank you so much for
you. Well,
helping me, and
thank
just
you. Yeah.
making a huge difference.
Yeah. I have a very interesting definition for the word learning.
Uh-huh.
I say that learning is a process of deleting fake realities and not adding data. Most people think that you got to learn in order to get data. I
Mm.
say you got to learn in order to remove nonsense. And when you clean your
It
windshield
will.
enough, all of a sudden you can see, and you don't need me to tell you go left, go right. You can see
Right.
because you know, and the only bad thing that you can tell a person is you don't know.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
The worst thing, the most suppressive thing that you can do to a person is to tell him you don't know. You want to
Wow.
destroy someone, tell him you don't know.
Yeah.
You know. And any teacher can, the only thing that the teacher can do for you is help you realize that you actually know. And you
Mm.
don't do that by adding data, because if I'm adding data, then I become the God and you become my slave.
Mm.
What kind of a freedom is that? What kind of
Right.
life is that?
And,
Never, ever, ever make anyone or anything or any deity or anyone the source of your knowledge. You
right.
need to get to a point where you know just because you know.
Mhm.
You know for no reason at all.
Awesome.
When I was 3 years old, I woke up one day. I went to the radio did not work at our home, and I crawled to the radio because I was with Cass and whatever. Never mind. So I opened the radio, the back of the radio. I look, and I decided that vacuum tube is broken. I took the vacuum tube out, went to my dad, and I said, "Hey, Dad, this vacuum tube is broken, and if you buy me one, I will fix the radio." And he says, "How do you know that vacuum tube is broken and not something else?" And I looked at him and I thought that he's the most weird person in the universe. And I told him, "How do you know your name?" "What do you mean, how do you know?" "I know. I don't need a reason to know. But you know, you know. You know your name. You don't say, well, why do I think my name is? No, you know." And that was my viewpoint on life since then. And every
Wow.
time my life went the wrong way around is because someone came to me and told me that I don't know.
Mm.
Good intention people, but
Yeah.
they told me I don't know. And the disaster always came. You want to find the beginning of any one of your failures, any disaster that you have in your life, you will see it started when you bought the idea that you don't know, that someone other than you know more than you. No one, no one know more than you, because anything that in front of you, behind you, or the side of you, you put it there. So no one can know more than you. You know, the spirit only ability is to know, and you know by putting ideas out, not by looking at your past. The
Mm.
definition of the word insanity is attention stuck in the past. Tension stuck in the past. So when someone else other than yourself or something else other than you tell you what's right, what's wrong, how to know, etc., etc. You need to know you're already checked out, you're already lost.
Yeah.
Make sense?
That is so powerful. So powerful. Love that. Love that. And this is what I mean, Mir. I mean, applying all this in my life through drills and exercises is just amazing. I mean, there's no information like this that's available that one can read it, but it's so much at a practical level that it can be done.
Yeah,
So,
it's really the simplicity is unbelievable, and the results are immediate. And if someone come to you and tell you that either it's not simple or the results are not immediate, and when someone cannot show you the results, or when he thinks that it's complex, you need to know this person don't know.
yeah.
You need to know it. This person don't know. Person that know thinks that everything is simple. He's like, he thinks, wow, he really thinks that it's complicated. You don't believe it. Like, wow, you think it's complicated. Let's say you know how to write, and someone tell you it's complicated to write. You think, no, it's really simple. Yes. So number one, it's easy. Number two, you can predict how long it will take to bring the results. You can say that's how long it will take. 3.7 seconds and I will take off. You can predict the result. You can say I will arrive in 21 minutes. So you can predict the time it will take. And number three, you can predict the results. Not guess the result. Predict, say that's what will happen. If any of this is missing, you achieve.
Wow. Wow. Love that. Love that. Okay. Awesome. That's so important, Mir. Thank you so much. This is really, really helpful.
Just before we go, anyone that's listening, if you have any questions, follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official. And even if you don't have questions, make other people follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official, and simply write for me a question. Anyone, even if I don't know the person, write for me any question you have, and I will give you answers you will not like, but they will be effective. That's number one. Number two, if you want to join the path to you, the Lost Art of the Yoga Sutra, I deliver it on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. South Africa time, and 10 p.m. Israel time. All you have to do is to go to meirezra.com/yoga and register. It's free, not easy, but free, yes, and it's on the screen here on Facebook and YouTube, and it's in my bio on Instagram. So you go to my bio on Instagram, you'll find the link, and you click. And other than that, tomorrow at same time, 4 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time and 10 p.m. in South Africa, I'm going to do another Facebook Live every day. I'm doing this thing other than Saturday and Sunday, or other than Sunday, I'm not sure.
Other than Saturday.
Every day I'm doing those interviews, and I talk about whatever. If you want to ask me specific questions, private message me, and I will answer the questions. And that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mir. Thank you for the opportunity for interviewing you and sharing so much powerful knowledge with me and my friends and people and human beings.
Thank you. And thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone. I see there are lots of people here, Swapna and Aaron and Avi Budara, Halan, Mainyanim. He's Israeli, a friend, very good friend from Israel. And Marcel Cohen, hi, also Israeli, but he lives in Canada. He's like unbelievable engineer, and he deals with like unbelievable knowledge. Yes, lots of people. Thank you for joining. Please share, and thank you, Amit, not only for this interview, for everything you're doing. You and Swapna and your family, probably the most beautiful family I ever known, most caring, most loving. And I don't think I ever met someone so special like you. You have the best family I met ever, like really unbelievable. And thank you for Shamaya that organizing everything in the background. And of course, Thank you for Gali that helps me with everything that moves.
He's
And
amazing.
thank you for joining. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds great. Bye bye.
Bye bye.